Lagosians, they are madder than the government. Now that it's raining, you will notice that they are not advertising land as much. But when there's dry season now, you see everybody doing sharp sales.
You saved for years, finally bought land in Lagos, and one day somebody shows up and tells you this land is not yours.
For you to own real estate, you need a deed of assignment. Somebody has to assign the rights that they have in whatever property they already own before it can become yours. You cannot buy real estate with a receipt.
That sentence alone could save you millions of dollars. On this episode of the Frankly Business Podcast, Folajomi Ibrahim, the real estate egghead as is fondly called, exposes the scams, loopholes, and the hidden truth inside Nigerian real estate.
If the state does not recognize your kingship, I cannot buy property from you as a king. Because at the end of the day, 1978 Land Use Act says the land is in care of the governor, not of a king. See, if Nigeria was a consequence place, people go plenty for prison. You need to understand exactly what you are buying, and the only way you can do that is to hire the people that do it correctly.
Why court cases take almost 10 years?
The average court case on land in Nigeria is nothing less than 9 years. When you want to buy real estate, it involves investigations and then proper transfer of ownership. If you do not do that, you end up crying like everybody else.
What a deed of assignment really means?
So a deed of assignment is a document that transfers things of an asset class like real estate. And what does it contain? The history of how the land became the seller's land. I've had cases where people went to go and rent grandma to convince us that this is the complete family. Yes, nobody seated there was representative of the real family that was selling the property.
And also, why trust is the fastest way to lose money in real estate.
If you are working on trust me, bro, you will cry. You will cry. And that's the thing. A lot of people fall for confidence and good demeanor, not knowing that if it is not written down, now story that they talk.
From government acquisition to flood-prone land to building collapse realities to the true cost of construction in Lagos.
When we calculated the cost to deliver a good quality home, it was slightly luxurious. We're getting 272 million.
This is the survival knowledge you need in real estate. If you plan to buy land, build property, or invest in Nigerian real estate, watch this episode before you lose money to ignorance. This is the Frankly Business Podcast. Sir Folajomi, you're very much welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we've had conversations before, and I'm glad that we're having it again. Welcome again.
Nice
a lot happening in the real estate industry in Nigeria, in Africa at large, but real estate is one of the biggest, largest industries in Nigeria as we speak. What is the biggest lie that an average Nigerian is being told about real estate in Nigeria?
The one that I would say leads to the biggest level of sadness is that real estate is an asset class like every other one. You cannot buy real estate with a receipt, or they can't give you a receipt for real estate. And if that is what you get, you usually are being scammed. For you to own real estate, you need a deed of assignment. Somebody has to assign the rights that they have in whatever property they already own before it can become yours. So if you think you can just buy, you might end up, losing your money.
Whoa.
However, if you buy correctly, if you buy right, then you are safe. I'll give you an example.
Please do.
I was having a conversation with the commissioner for Waterfront infrastructure, I think yesterday, and he was speaking about how we have to address the demand part of real estate. A lot of people buy real estate from Omo-onile, thinking that they are buying good waterfront properties. Whereas those waterfront properties are either under acquisition or they are already spoken for, in that there are government allocations that government has already allocated to somebody that probably is not ready to build yet. You understand? Or it is not for sale yet. So at the end of the day, when the government then comes and sends people away, it becomes trial by media. So it is never clear on why it is that way. But the truth of the matter is, we need to understand as a people that when you want to buy real estate, it involves investigations and then proper transfer of ownership. If you do not do that, you end up crying like everybody else because there is a large number. And one of the reasons I entered this real estate game, as I mentioned in our previous was how family members too have been scammed. In fact, my dad had to buy one of his properties, the land, 3 times. He bought from the Omo-onile, the head of the family. Then they found out that the head of the family had already allocated, or their father already shared portions for everybody, and that one sold what was not his portion. Then they paid that guy, like the other guy.
Yeah.
Then they found out that there was a bastard child, and that bastard child was not compensated from that money. So the guy was like, "If you don't want us to go to court, you are going to have to settle me again." So you have to pay 3 times.
How do you avoid such? I want us to be very practical. You're a very practical man. And how do you avoid such? Somebody who's been working, let's say 9 to 5, struggled, saved a lot of money, let's say a decent 5 million to buy a land, or 10 million. What are the steps from when you conceived that idea or the desire to buy a land? What is the first thing I should do? The next and the next and the next before that property becomes mine?
I would say you need 3 people. One is your realtor, who is preferably an estate valuer. Because what that does for you is that instead of you trying to rely on checking websites and checking all these things to find where land is, if you talk to a realtor that is an estate valuer, or just a realtor anyways, what they do for you is that they have more information than you do, because that is their daily bread. It's like you can't have as much road driving as a downfall driver. It's not possible.
True.
They do that for a living. So, for example, you say you want to buy land in, I'm giving an example here, Banana Island. And the realtor is telling you, there's no land there for sale. All that place is acquisition. Don't even bother going there. Or you want to buy land from a developer, and the realtor tells you, he has scammed 2 of my clients in the past. Don't go there. So that gives you information that you would normally not get if you were just randomly scrolling the internet or you found an ad online.
What's an acquisition?
Acquisition is...
Because I noticed that you made mention of acquisition.
Yes, so acquisition is short for government acquisition.
Okay.
The Land Use Act of 1978 vests all the power of all land in a state to the state governor. By default, there are lands that belong to the state government that is not open for sale. But because government lacks the manpower to enforce that in every place in Lagos, some bad actors, aka Omo-onile, most times, will go there and encroach on government land. Then they'll start selling it. Unsuspecting buyers that don't check realize that they buy what never belonged to the seller that is selling it to them in the first place. So the first step is a realtor. The second step is a surveyor. The surveyor maps the location that they tell you that is available for sale. They have tools to do that. They map that location, they take it to the Surveyor General's office, and they confirm that this land, it is not under acquisition. Another thing that their search does is even tells you whether this area is prone to flood. So you can, with a surveyor, avoid land that doesn't belong to the seller that is trying to sell it to you, and also land that might be flooded in the future or in the rainy season, because now that it's raining, you notice that they are not advertising land as much. But when there's dry season now, you see everybody doing sharp sales. You understand? So that one is the surveyor's part.
So are you inferring that the best time to go for land search is during rainy season?
Yes, but if you don't have your capital put together in rainy season, does not mean you still cannot buy in dry season. Because at the end of the day, you might come at a time of flood, but not the worst flood. There are times that the canal is definitely blocked, and the water backup would normally not make it maybe every year. But the year it does, the surveyors have that data available to them. So you definitely not be at risk. They will tell you that, okay, this place is so and so height or so and so meters above the floodplain. You understand? So that data is available to them. So they confirm whether your land is not under acquisition. They confirm the boundaries of your land. And also they are the ones that prepare a survey for you, which is basically a location map of where your land actually exists. That is on the part of the surveyor. Then the third person you need is a property lawyer. Not any lawyer. I'm not talking divorce, I'm not talking litigation, I'm talking property. People that they are versed in the space. Because part of this job, when it comes to working in Lagos or working in Nigeria, is having a man inside so that work moves fast. And property lawyers always do, because, you know, people that you converse with every day.
Yeah.
You understand? It's like me not knowing my regulator. It's not possible. I do know them and they do know me. You understand? So a property lawyer will do one thing for you. Cover the rest of the investigation. They have people that they send to that area and ask that, what is happening here? Who is the person selling this land? What is the story with the family? Some things that never make it to court records. But they also go to probate. Probate is when you die, when you pass away, the processes to transferring ownership to your next of kin or people in your will or people that are administrators of your estate, for example.
Yeah.
That is where you go to check it out. They go to court to find out whether there's any case, because part of what court
that
case,
land.
yes. So they go through and check all those things for you. They also go and check who actually owns the land. They do that at the land registry. I'll give you an example.
Please do.
You want to buy a land, or we wanted to buy a land at Ikeja.
Yeah.
And they had all their documentation. We had to go and check first of all. So the lawyer came back and he found out that there is the owner of the land is this person. The person is dead. He died intestate, meaning that he did not have any will. So ownership is transferred through a land administration, a letter of administration. Sorry.
Okay.
So a letter of administration, it basically says, from the government saying, this is the people or this is the person that is in charge of managing the estate of that person that passed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So they did not have this document, but they were saying, I am the first wife of this past man, and my children are on board with selling this property, which makes sense. So in that type of case, you can say, okay, I am not going to buy the land yet, but we are going to talk about the process of you getting this documentation.
Yeah.
If you give me a discount of maybe 5%, I can sponsor the documentation process.
Yeah.
Then I will buy the land. But for me to do that type of thing, I have to be sure that all the documents are going to be in order. You understand?
Yeah, absolutely.
But guess what my lawyer found out?
What?
The man did not have a second wife, but he had a child from another wife.
From another woman?
Yes. Another woman, not another wife. What does that mean? When we presented the case to them that we want to do this thing, they never mentioned there was another child. And in the eyes of the law, there's no such thing as a bastard child. All children have the same rights.
All children
have the same rights. There's no such thing as, because it's not my wife's, is your picking. You understand? So what that meant at the end of the day.
So even the bastards have rights to the property?
Yes. So if there is no concession in documentation, in writing, that all of them, including that child, agrees, then there's a problem. But that's not where the problem ended. The child was underage. So it fell to the guardian of that child, the mother, that was not a wife.
What a twist.
Guess what? There was a court case of that woman fighting the family. So what my lawyer did, because he's not siding anybody, he reached out to the other woman and was like, how far? We want to buy a property there. And the woman said, buy her if they born you, and hung up the phone. That was the end of the transaction. So anybody that doesn't go through that process could not have understood what was involved. You understand? I call it a two-lock system. If two of them are not locked, your surveyor side and your lawyer side, you cannot buy the property. Because if the lawyer says it's their own, but the surveyor says there is flood, you still cannot buy it. If the lawyer says, I've checked everything and all their documentation is in order, but the surveyor says they have a document that says they own land, but the surveyor says the document they have is for number 10 Frank Street, but the land that they are showing you is number 21 Frank Street, then that's a scam. You understand? So you need to understand exactly what you are buying, and the only way you can do that is to hire the people that do it correctly. because you do not want to risk your money on trying to figure it out yourself. If it were maybe buying a dress, the dress costs maybe 50k. You can decide not to go to the fashion designer. You keep wasting your money till you get it right. And the worst that will happen is you spend $1 million. We are talking 50 million, 100 million, 200 million naira properties. Do you want to risk buying it wrongly? No. So what you do on your own part is assemble the correct team. Make sure they don't come from the same place so that there's no collusion. You understand? I don't buy the idea where a realtor knows the buyer and knows the seller and is trying to bring them together. I prefer the realtor for the buyer, the realtor for the seller. We are basically playing table tennis. If I hit, you hit too. I'm fighting for my client. You fight for your client. But if you are the realtor serving both sides, then you're serving yourself.
True.
You understand? I've been in deals.
You're the referee and you're playing the game.
So I've been in deals where we got to the finish line and the realtor was like, my client is not paying me any percentage on this deal. If you guys would not pay me plus your own realtor, then the deal is gone. And at the end of the day, the deal left because I can't pay my realtor and pay your realtor too. So a lot of drama is involved. And also, when you are going to buy property, it's like renting a house. You are not going to get it right the first time. It's hardly ever the case. So be ready to dance that dance for a while.
Why?
It's just the way Nigeria is. Anyhowness reigns supreme. You want to make sure that you hit the nail on the head. So don't get discouraged when your lawyer does their job and finds problems. I can tell you that from experience, I know some areas in Lagos that when I go to, I know everybody here cannot have documents. Because that's the type.
Tell us the areas. Please, I would love that.
I'll rather not mention.
Mention 3.
I'll rather not mention.
All right,
2. There's a side of Ikotun area that a lot of people did not bother processing their documents.
Why do you think so?
I don't know.
Which
there are major parts of Ikorodu that people live there. People have built there. They've been living there for years, decades. And those places are under government acquisition.
And they don't know.
They know, but they feel like government is not coming now. So they transfer ownership amongst themselves using things like Omo-onile receipts or deed of assignment. Deed of assignment, yes, transfers. But that there is a requirement, a prerequisite that the land belongs to you to start with. You understand? So
continuing with this conversation with the idea that everybody understands deed of assignment will be a bad service.
Okay, so a deed of assignment
from me,
yes, is a document that transfers things of an asset class like real estate. And what does it contain? The history of how the land became the seller's land. Like, for example, now, I'll give you an example.
Please do.
A land says, a deed of assignment for a project that we completed, I think, about 3 years ago or 4 years ago. The deed of assignment says the land belonged to the family of so and so kingdom, which was then sold to so and so person, which was then registered under the law with number M015530, something like that. For example. And then it was transferred to this person. And now it is available for sale. No, before that, it was transferred to this person and the person passed away. And through this letter of administration named so and so, numbered so and so, in file number so and so, in docket number so and so at the Lagos State government, this land is then being transferred to Folajomi, for example.
Wow.
So the history of the property is there. And it must conform with what the government has. Because what their record is not as important as what is with the government. So basically, what you always want to do is that the government is aware of your status. So let's continue with deed of assignment. It also carries the beacon numbers of the area of the land. For example, a beacon number is a unique identifier for your plot of land. So if your land is a perfect rectangle, it will have 4. Corner 1, corner 2, corner 3, corner 4. Those beacon numbers, the data is also with the government, but it's also going to be in your deed.
So beacon numbers are they coordinates?
They are not coordinates per se because you can't use them to find somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But in your survey must state the road that your land exists and the beacon number of that place. So that way, if they can find the road,
Yeah.
they would find the beacon numbers. But that one is still terrestrial. You can easily go to the Surveyor General's office and find out exactly what is going on there. It's called charting.
Yeah.
Once you chart, you get the place. So that is also contained in the deed of assignment. And there's also a copy of the survey attached to it. So the history of the land, who is selling it, who is buying it, the price, the coordinates. And also at the bottom of the deed of assignment, there's an area left for the governor of the state to sign, consenting that transaction. And that is what is called the governor's consent. If the governor does not consent to that transaction, it means that the land still by default belongs to the person that owned it before you. If they
Even
carry,
if I have that
yes. So you have to always finish the last mile. So it's not enough that you buy the property. When you buy the property and you own the deed, that person, if they are mischievous, can still go
to court.
No, they can still go to they can go pick up a certified true copy of that document and go and use to take a loan at the bank. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you have to be.
And so if they don't pay that loan, the bank can confiscate that property based on that.
Yes.
But what if I have the evidence of the transaction that happened between me and...
Doing business reports in Nigeria says the average amount of time or before you get the first decision in court is 464 days. So if you get an injunction, if the bank gets an injunction on your property, for example, the default is they usually maintain status quo. They tell you to get out till the next court date. 464 days is a little over a year.
Yeah.
So, in fact, almost a year and a half. What would you be doing for a year and a half till your case appears in court? And when you finally get to court, they most likely will not make a decision that day. They'll probably be hearing evidence. You understand?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you've lost 3 years, 4 years. The average court case on land in Nigeria, and this is not a factual data, but from what I think I can remember, is nothing less than 9 years. So if you say you want to waste your time regarding that just because you did not take the last step after buying your property, it's not worth it. But if you bought the property and you did the needful after buying it, because we were talking about buying. Now we are talking about post-buying. Do you understand? So you have to do the needful, informing the government that, see, I'm the new owner of this property.
Yeah.
So if anything happens after the fact, you don't have to worry about anything. Now there's
That's when you've gotten the governor's consent.
Yes. Once you have the governor's consent, the banks, if you want to take loan, they are interested in giving you money because they're like, this guy in every eye owns this property. You understand?
Yeah.
But if you've not gotten to that last mile, bank will be like, this thing can still go all right. Let's not play with you. So for you to even use your asset properly, you have to have full ownership.
Which is the governor's consent.
Yes, that governor's consent. Because land issues, land transactions there's like primary school, there's university, there's PhD. If you are buying a property from the government, what they call government allocated properties, like maybe a scheme, for example, government will give you a C of O direct. A C of O is a certificate of occupancy, giving you the rights to occupy the property according to the confines of the C of O. For example, can you use it for commercial? Can you use it for industrial? Can you use it for agricultural? You understand? For the set period, which is usually 99 years. Now, when you want to sell that property, another person cannot get a C of O again because there's already a C of O existing on the property.
Absolutely.
Now, when the person wants to sell it to you, they'll sell it to you. What you are receiving at the end of the day is a deed of assignment with their own C of O. That's why I told you that in the C of O, it has to follow the process. The history of ownership has to be there. So in the deed of assignment, it will state that Mr. Frank got this C of O in year 2000 with the C of O number of so and so, and is now selling it to me, Folajomi. That is when I get a consent. But if I'm buying land from Omo-onile and they have their own documentation, because Omo-onile too cannot just sell land. They can't just say it's my father's land. And
How do
they have to have an annexation.
Okay.
all land belongs to the government by default.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
Some are acquisition land. Acquisition basically means it belongs to the government. Don't buy it.
Yeah.
But there's acquisition committed and acquisition non-committed. Committed means that it's the government by default, but they even have a plan to put a stadium there. They have a plan to put an airport there. So you can't, as a community, that's another thing. You can never excise land as a person. A developer cannot excise land. Community usually goes to the government and says, see, we've run out of land. We want to build primary school. We want to build this one. We want to build that. Is it live? We don't want to build anything. We want to build this. We want to build that. Please come and cut out this portion of your acquired land to us. We want to use it as a community. It costs a lot of time and a lot of money. Some developers will step in and they'll be like, we'll sponsor that process. That's where you hear things like excision in progress. But now, the issue is that it is not excised until it's excised. When they get the excision, the government will publish a gazette. In that gazette, they'll say, in Frank community, or maybe you can say Ijebu land, for example, coordinate so and so to coordinate so and so has been excised and given back to the Frank community. When Frank community wants to sell that land to me, that excision is part of my documentation.
Oh, yeah.
Now, they are not selling all the land to me. So there now needs to be a survey again that says, of that entire land, this one is what they are cutting for me. So with their excision, the deed of assignment that they gave you rights, gave you part of their rights to sell to you. Excision, deed of assignment, and your survey, you carry it and go and process your C of O. When you get to the government and you're like, I want a C of O for this land, your documentation has to show that how did the land become your own. Okay, Omo-onile sold it to me. How did it become Omo-onile land? Okay, government cut it out for the community. And as the head of the community, I cut it out and gave to this person. You understand? So there must be a history of ownership. You can't just happen to own land. It's not possible. If somebody somewhere promised you the land, how did it become the person's land? There must be documentation saying it. If you are working on, trust me, bro, you will cry. You will cry. And that's the thing. A lot of people fall for confidence and good demeanor, not knowing that if it is not written down, now story that they talk. I had somebody reach out to me.
Written down? What are they writing down?
Like, document has to show that this belongs to this person, and you have to
the deed of assignment you're talking about, and that has a governor's consent.
Yes, and the document needs to be a document that the government is either aware of or produced.
Easy to, in this day and age of AI, is it not easy to manufacture documents?
Yes, so that's why. That's why the document. Yes, that's why the document they give you in their parlor when you are negotiating means nothing. It has to be. So, for example, now if you are buying property from a properly established, they don't even give
real estate company.
Or you are buying from maybe a seller's lawyer. Lawyers don't have time to tell you story. They'll just give you a number and say, go to the land registry and go and check the document there. That number tells you where our document is. So they go there and they check it and they confirm. So you now have more information about the land. That also tells you who owns it, whose name is on the title. So you now know that, the name there is Frank. Automatically can deal with you. But if you give me a document that says, for example, now, my name is Folajomi Ibrahim. For example, my father's name might be Folajomi Ibrahim. Do you understand? That's another type of scam.
That they'll now call you Junior.
Yeah. So
and it was common those days.
What you normally check again is how old could this person have been when they were buying the land? It almost happened to us at a project in Surveyor.
Tell me about it.
The buyer was the name. The seller had the name that was on the title.
Okay.
But the title was registered in 1972.
The
guy was born 1968. You can't own a property at 4 years old. So it was his father. And the guy almost got away with it if my lawyer did not check the documents properly. You understand? So there are too many angles they can attack you from. You have to be shielded. And lawyers of caliber and experience always know what to do. That's why I don't feel like it is safe enough to just do a short tutorial and give it to you and say you now know how to buy land by yourself. It's too risky. It's better you take what I give you with, the backing of somebody that does this thing every day. There are different angles to the scams. So as to document forgery, forget that one. You are just taking the information from their documents in order to go and
Fact check.
Yes, what the government is saying. Also, it's not enough. I've had cases where people went to go and rent grammar to convince us that this is the complete family. Yes. One of my senior colleagues then, because I had not established myself then, I was still a young guy.
Yeah.
We wanted to go and buy land. And the lawyer spotted a woman. I was like, tapped his principal. I was like, I know this madam. I've seen her on another transaction. There's no way she is a family member here and a family member there. This family cannot have anything to do with themselves. So that gave an opening to start tearing the fabric of the entire lie they had built. And at the end of the day, we found out that nobody seated there was representative of the real family that was selling the property. It was all fake. I'll give you another example.
Please do.
Somebody published in the newspaper saying, this short job ads or change of name type of thing, where you submit to newspaper and newspaper publishes.
Yeah.
So the person submitted that 2,000 plots in, I think, Badagry or something now belongs to the family of so and so and so. And that was it. And that was what he was using as evidence to be selling land to people. So when they asked that, where is the gazette that your family owns the land, he will send them newspaper screenshots. When I saw it, I'm like, no, this is not a gazette. The guy that brought the issue to me was having serious cognitive dissonance because every other person in his family had already bought.
And he was the one that introduced them.
He was the one. So he wanted to buy more, but it was like that area that he bought had finished. that he wanted to buy had finished. He wanted to buy more. So they now gave him another newspaper clipping just like that one. The guy, I don't think the guy ended up because he didn't follow up again. The guy he was broken. And that is the thing. So you just go out and say you want to buy land. Somebody called me the other day. They said, come and buy land in Ilorin. And I'm like, okay, what document do you have? He said, is the king that wants to sell. Is king above governor? Is king above government? What is government saying about the land?
But the king can be a representative of a community.
Yes, but there must be documentation that is his community. There must be documentation that is the king. If the state does not recognize your kingship, I cannot buy property from you as a king. Because at the end of the day, 1978 Land Use Act says the land is in care of the governor, not of a king. So documentation must be clear. If it's not clear, you will not see me there.
So, how about houses itself? I understand these issues of land, and now there are conversations around buy this house, pay in installment, do this, do that. What is the way around? What are the ways around it for houses? Is it the same process?
Yes, to confirm everything the land holds, because whoever owns the land owns the house on top of it by default.
How about multiple layers of...
Yes, we are getting there.
Okay.
So,
where they sell each unit.
Yes, because in the deed of assignment of a land, it clearly states that everything on the land. So, for you to buy into a project that is even multi-units, that they are selling individual units, the land has to be correct. Except every other thing on top of that foundation is a failure. So that's the type of confirmation you do first. But it doesn't end there now. when you cover everything about the land, you have to cover everything regarding the development. As for development, they need approvals. In Lagos, you need approvals from the Lagos State Fiscal Planning and Permit Authority. On top of that, you need authorization to construct from Lagos State Building Control.
After getting approval?
Yes, approval says, based on the plan you presented, this is good to go. But even in the approval, they'll tell you go to building control. It's clear on the page that they'll give you that this does not give you authority to start. It just gives you authority to be. It basically, you've cleared yourself from us that your building is not a nuisance to society, and you follow laws that we established already. That is what it tells you. But if you are ready to build, because you can get approval in 2021 and you don't want to build in 2024.
True.
You understand? When you are ready to build, go and get authorization. Because the job of building control is very simple. To follow through the process of building. Because you get approval for 4-story building and you go and build 7. Who will make sure that it follows through? It's building control that follows through on that. They are the ones that at every stage, because it doesn't end that you even get authorization to build. You also have to have what is called stage certification. Because when they give you authorization, they are telling you, go and start. But the moment you want to do your first stage, call us, let us come and see it. And give you authorization to continue.
Which is the foundation?
Which is state, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So, basically, you are saying, I want to go and start too. Please give me authorization to go and start. And what does starting mean? I want to go and dig the floor so that I can put my foundation. Once you've dug the floor, you've done your blinding, you've put iron, and you want to pour concrete on top, they have to come. How many iron did you tell fiscal planning that you are going to put inside? 210. Okay, let us see the 210 together. How wide did you say your foundation was going to be? Is it 40 meters? Okay, let's measure the 40 meters to see.
Do they actually do that?
They do.
Wow.
They do. So when you are done with that stage, when they've seen the reinforcement, they are like, okay, you can go ahead. They will write what is called a state certification document. Is a site instruction. It's their own copy. They will give you white copy. They will take duplicate away. So what that document says is that from what we have seen, you are okay to go to the next stage, but make sure that the concrete you are pouring on this thing, you take samples to Lagos State Material Testing Lab to confirm the quality of the concrete and give us that report the next time you call us for the next stage. That way, they've confirmed that your drawing is okay. They've confirmed your reinforcement is okay, but they couldn't confirm the concrete because you've not poured it yet.
Yeah. True.
And they don't even want to confirm it. There is a lab that uses data to confirm. So if you then get to the next stage, you should have gone through material testing.
True.
Now, material testing, before you even start your project, you are supposed to go to them and submit materials for them to test. Your steel. That's why it's not enough that you just buy steel and say it's okay. Material testing wants a sample. They are going to pull it to see the strength. They want a sample of your water. What is the quality of your water?
Water?
Yes, because bad water produces bad concrete. In fact, if you add sugar to water, the concrete will never set.
Wow.
Salt water too will corrode the reinforcement, and that will be bad construction. So they will check your water, they will check your steel. Also, when you have now mixed the concrete and poured it, they will test your concrete. But what some shady guys do is that when they are mixing what they are going to pour into the foundation, they will mix maybe 6 bags. By the time they want to, they'll mix like 4 bags. The one they now want to submit
for testing will be like 6 bags. So at the end of the day, it's like an athlete that is doping, and they say, piss in this jar so that we can go and test it. They now go and call somebody else to piss for them. You understand? Yeah.
So that way, they will not be able to confirm what is correct. So part of what you sign while getting approval is that you certify, you do an oath that you promise to follow through on this approval when you are constructing. See, if Nigeria was a consequence place, people go plenty for prison. If it's about documentation, if it's about the steps that the government designed so that buildings are built properly, there should not be any building that is bad. But what people do is, there's a project that I think collapsed recently. And what they found out was that Building control has been serving those people to stop work. But they won't work during the day. Once it's like 6, when they know that building control would have closed for the day, they will start work and work till morning. Imagine government coming to come and stop your work. They seal your gates. You go there, you cut the seal. They pay stop work contravention notice. And every time they come back, they don't meet anybody there. But the work is going up. So,
my goodness.
See, Lagosians, they are madder than the government. Government, they work. It's just that when it finally does happen, people feel like it's not working. But I can tell you for free that the guys that I know in building control, and I know many of them, they will not take rubbish from you. Because they too, they don't want to lose their job. It's a career path for them. They want to get to the top. So anything that is going to stain their record, they do not want it. So definitely they are going to follow through. And with the madam that is there now, God bless you, you mess up. Your building will never make it.
You will never.
Do you understand?
Make it.
So
yeah,
it is in your best interest to follow. But especially in buildings where there's one truth that we should not lie about.
Yeah.
There is not enough manpower.
That's for the government.
Yes, there's not enough manpower. Yes, they do try. But at the pace at which a lot of developers want to move, maybe, for example, you write to them that you want to cast in 7 days. And they're like, okay, we might not be able to come on Wednesday, but we'll come on Friday. Because of the workload on ground. You lose 2 days. And some people will be like, we have loan that we have to pay.
Yeah.
It's 30% per year, 35% per year. We cannot wait. We are working. You understand? If the government come and is unable to confirm, what they will do is they will tell you that they didn't see the stage. And they are going to put a notice. But what some people do be like, Shebi is government. We'll continue the work. You understand? Or they go and maybe work at night or something. Or try to pull political influence.
Bribe.
Not bribe necessarily, but you know, the nature of real estate allows developers, at least the big guys, to have access to political power.
Absolutely.
Do you understand?
Yeah, because
and we cannot deny that friendships between the billionaire class and the politicians don't happen.
Absolutely.
Do you understand?
It does.
Because even at the end of the day, politicians too go buy house. He go buy land. So definitely
launder funds.
But definitely it is something that would happen. So once in a while, the way I can reach out to you and Frank, okay, please, I need your help on something. You understand? You can easily, yes, I won't say that it doesn't happen. But what I'm sure the civil servants do is that they do their own part. Okay, they said so and so politicians say we should not touch you. We will put our notice there that, see, we don't trust what is going on. We will write documents saying we don't trust what is going on in that place. So by the time something bad eventually happens,
they are indemnified of.
Yeah, we did our best. And it's only in a country where we are not telling ourselves the truth that we'll say that those type of things don't happen. You understand? But one thing you will never catch them doing is taking bribes for bad work. It will not happen. If you say you want to tell me thank you for coming,
yeah,
you are thanking me for coming. You can't pay me not to do my job. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's like when you are working with NAFDAC will not, because you gave them money or you gave their terrestrial officers money, they won't check properly. If they say this place has to be totally tiled for you to do food work here, and this place has to be totally clean, they won't say you paint and they will let you work. It will never happen. Because they have accountability systems in place. The field officer has to report to somebody in photo evidence.
True.
You understand? And if you are caught wanting, you know, big engines always have something going on with them. And it's that everybody cannot be friends. But work still has to be done. And once in a while, you are going to be working for a boss that doesn't necessarily like you.
True.
So, you too, in your best interest, why do you want to go and be doing rubbish? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it is always, if it comes to buildings being built properly, if you see any place where they have all their documents complete, that building has a 99% chance of standing tall. It does. But when you start asking for documents and they are replying with story, that's where problems are. Where is your approval? You don't have it, or it's not here. One thing that I love about the Lagos State government officials when it comes to construction, if your document is in the office, it's not on site, you don't have it. If the last thing that you need for them not to lock you up is not present on site, you don't have it. Because it's not them that will go back to the office. And when they ask that, did this person have all the documents? You were like, they say they have it. You are not ready for promotion. You are ready for query.
Very true.
Do you understand?
Very
so
true.
the documents are usually complete, and there are a lot. It's not one. You collaborate with Lagos State Fiscal Planning and Permit Authority to get your approval documents. Now it's even online. It's not even terrestrial again. Everything has to go online now.
It's online.
Yes. You fill your application online. So there's no even need for my guy. You do it and you finish it online.
What's the website?
EPP. I can't remember.
Okay.
Can't remember. But once you go on Lagos State Fiscal Planning and Permit Authority electronic planning platform, it will bring it out for you.
Okay.
Yes, on Google.
Yeah.
Second is Lagos State Building Control. Building Control is the one that makes sure that your building is being built properly. There's Lagos State Safety Commission. It's their job to make sure that things are done safely on site.
Yeah.
But you know one thing I love about Safety Commission? They are not interested in penalizing you. They are interested in safety. That's why when they reach your site, they want you to do it properly. Where is your safety guideline?
Yeah.
Who is your safety officer? Where are your safety boards around the site? Where is your helmet? Where is your reflective jacket? Where are your safety
But you and I
boots?
know that they don't wear that. They don't.
That's one of the ways you know who will build properly. Because halo effect usually applies. Yes, sometimes it is a bias. But if you see me, my clothes are well ironed. My folder is organized in where I present things to you.
Yeah.
You always assume I'm analytical in nature. I do things properly.
Very true.
Do you understand?
Very
so
true.
that's the same way. If you come to a site and they are following safety, most likely they plan to deliver a good project. So those are the things you used to know. But it's not easy enforcing things properly in Nigeria. But for those that do it, it's a good sign that this work is done properly. It doesn't end there. You have material testing lab that makes sure that your materials are okay. But one caveat with material testing is that they will write it that they didn't come to pick up samples by themselves. In the cases where they don't come, you brought it. It's what you brought that they tested. You can't hold a lab for not testing malaria correctly when the sample brought to test malaria was wrong.
True.
Do you understand?
Yeah, true.
So they check that. And also what they do is that they come randomly to come and check whether everything is in order. You see, the way building control doesn't even end at just checking that your site is okay. They have departments, and those departments also cross-check themselves. They have insurance departments to come and make sure that your building is insured, your construction is being insured.
Wow.
Yes. So if you want to see a developer
for all those checks,
yes.
am I parting away with money?
How do you mean?
What is the financial commitment to go through building control on an average building?
I can't put a figure to it.
Okay, yeah.
The reason
for each of those departments,
Okay.
am I parting away? Am I making any payment officially?
definitely you have to.
Wow.
When you are paying for your physical planning,
Yeah.
there is a section of the bill that says 35% building control. So when you are paying for your planning, you're already automatically paying for building control because unless you never intended to build that house, you are supposed to pay that amount. When you finish paying that one, you go and register your construction with Lagos State Safety Commission. You tell them that I want to build my house here. These are the safety protocols I intend to follow. And this is my safety plan. In fact, they'll ask you, where's your muster point? Where are people gathering in case of a problem? What are your protocols for this, for that, for this, for that? You have to have all those things. That is how you know people that are in the game. These things do exist. But you know, I'll give you one funny example.
Please do.
You go as a student into the bathroom of the toilet, the bathroom of the department in your school. And that toilet is bad. You use it and you just come out, it's fine. You don't complain. It's not good enough, but you don't complain. The lecturer goes into their own toilet too. And there's no issue. If that toilet is still not good enough to standard, nobody is going to ever complain, or they will never do anything about it, because everybody seems to be fine with that level of mediocrity. What do I mean? If you go to an area of Lagos, some people sleep, they don't even wear slippers to do construction work. And that has become the norm there. So if you see somebody doing something correctly, it seems weird. But there are parts of Lagos you go to, especially where good construction is happening, where projects are accurately priced. I will not say overpriced now. Accurately priced. You see that they follow these things correctly. And it's so that all these things are, for example, now, if you do your insurance on your project and there's an incident, they won't just throw money to your account. They'll come and investigate. And if you are not following safety, you don't dash insurance money.
Wow.
Do you understand? So all these things have to be done. And apart from insurance department, the main one that comes to you is I&QC, Inspectorate and Quality Control. They inspect and they do quality control. There's even another one called PCA, Post-Construction Audit.
Yeah.
That means building control will not leave you alone because you finish building. They also come around to see the construction after it has been complete. You understand? So there are different things. It doesn't also end there. We've touched on safety. Safety's job is to make sure that the site is safe. They are not really into penalty. But building control will penalize the hell out of you. If you misstep, you'll be penalized. Because the effect is greater on the entire building than one person.
Yeah, true.
You understand? If the building collapses, it might not only be people on site. If the building tilts to the other compound, it's a bigger problem.
Yeah.
So they don't joke at all. They are nothing. You hardly see them smiling. But safety, they want to teach you to be safe. They are in the guiding business. You understand? Yes, there are little amounts you pay to make sure that you register your construction, but it's not anything serious.
Yeah.
Same thing with material testing. You don't even pay them for coming to your site to come and do anything. You just pay for the tests that you're supposed to do. You understand?
Yeah.
So those are the processes. There's also your local government, your LCDA that comes around to make sure that you've registered your development with them. You do your stacking permit as well, because you can't build without stacking.
Yeah.
So it's also revenue for the LCDA. There's another one I'm trying to remember. Okay, you have your normal Omo-onile. Omo-onile will come.
So how do you handle those ones? Street levy.
You say you pay me. There's no way around it. The golden rule for me is that for anything regarding payment on site, don't ever let them to come and meet you on site. Because when they come, is the most expensive. You've paid your carpenter, you've paid your bricklayer, you've paid your laborers. If they come, they have all the leverage.
Yeah.
But you want to talk to Omo-onile, and you go and meet them where they are, at their house, their palace, whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm building in that place. You can easily tell them that if you don't give me a good rate, I'm not going to build the project. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because there is really nothing to lose per se.
True.
At that point.
Yeah.
Same thing if you go and meet building control and you do all your documentation properly.
Yeah.
If building control comes to your site with an enforcement team, they only come when you've been stubborn like 1 or 2 times. You hear people saying, they did not tell me that they came. My engineer did not tell me that they came before. There's no ignorance under the law.
Yeah, that's
if they come with enforcement, they are only interested in one of 2 things. Either they lock your site, or they lock your site and carry you away. Do you understand? It means that you've contravened
the law.
They've told you to stop work, you broke the seal and stuff like that. So even if they just come for a contravention notice, at that point you're already due for a penalty. And you can't really negotiate a penalty more than if you did not even show up at all. Or if they did not have to show up at all. You go to the office, I want to build. This is my document, this is that. Okay. Have you looked at all these things? Have you followed? Bring your set of drawings, bring your set of surveys, bring your soil reports, all those documents.
Yeah.
They confirm everything is on check.
Yeah.
They come to the site, they confirm that you've not started.
Yeah.
So if you started, you collect penalty.
Yeah.
You confirm you started. Once you've done all that, they give you your green sticker. And you're good to go.
You're known for Mainland, Lagos Mainland. Let's be very practical now. There are lots of lots of eyes on the island. What are the opportunities on the mainland that a lot of people do not know because of your experience? You've developed a lot of properties on the mainland. What are the opportunities on Lagos mainland?
There's one thing that a lot of people don't know about the mainland,
Yeah.
and it's that the demand is not phantom. It is real. A lot of places that you have to go and buy, people are just moving there. They've not even made up their mind yet. They are still moving there. But in Lagos mainland,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. There was a project we delivered in 2022, 21. Because our project delayed by 4 months, one guy that wanted to take the space, he wanted to marry into the house, he moved his wedding. One time, we wanted to deliver a project, and then I was the project manager, I was not the developer.
Yeah.
So the guy called me and he was like, see, I'll give you 200K if you can let me get this house. I'll jump the queue of everybody. If you want to do a house showing in Lagos mainland now, many people have to join. They have to come together. There's nothing like I'll show this person, I'll show this person, I'll show this person. No. All of you go there. It's at that point we know who wants the house the most. It's like a silent auction. The demand is very, very real. And while I'm a developer, one thing that is also interesting about real estate in Nigeria is that you can afford to build in, you can afford to buy in Surulere, but you feel like you should be living in Ikoyi.
Yeah.
You can afford to buy in Ikorodu,
Yeah.
but you're like, let me live in Ikeja. So usually, what you can afford and where you want to live is usually not the same thing.
Yeah.
So even somebody like me,
Yeah.
I rent where I stay from my landlady that lives in Ikoyi. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that is usually the game. So as at the time we wanted to rent our house, when we got there, we were like 11 there. 11. And they said more people were coming. What was funny was when you want to pay commission and agreement, you pay 5%, but 10% is not out of the ordinary anymore.
Yeah.
We paid 35%. That is how we got the house. Because if you cannot outbid everybody there, you'll be like everybody else. And me, I had seen like, at that point, maybe 28 houses. And I kept on standing on principle and did not get anyone. And people were getting houses. And I was there. And I saw this house, like, I love this house. They say we'll pay 35%. We will pay, because if not, everyone will keep going to the next house and the next. And that is peculiar to the mainland. I don't usually see those type of things on the island. Because mainland is not as expensive as the island yet. Yes. But the supply is very low. So in Lekki now.
So are you inferring that mainland is where we get the real value of real estate?
I 100% stand with it. That's why I'm a mainland guy. Yes, I will build in island because the demand for island too is real and it exists. But the one for mainland, the problem with mainland is that as a developer, before you even find land that you build on, is a problem. If you go to island, there's land everywhere. If you say you don't want this one, there's land in the next one. If you don't say, so it's not as saturated as the mainland. But one thing you want to do as an investor is to have one slot and have 40 people fighting over it. That way, you can keep silently increasing your price till you hit a number that you are getting quality people at the same time you are getting good money. Those things are usually not possible on the island. And the mainland has things that you can actually stand behind. We have malls. Yes, island has beach. We don't have beach on the mainland. But mainland has malls. Mainland has 2 stadia where you see, if you come to Surulere on a Saturday morning, you think everybody is into fitness. That is how interesting. And we are more, so to quote unquote, neighborly than my experience on the island.
More communal.
More communal, exactly. Yeah. So those are the little advantages that I would say is. So mainland right now is still underpriced. So getting in at this time.
What's the average cost of a decent property on the mainland? Okay. I will give you the average cost of a different. I'm not the one to tell you, but the market, let's say Lekki Phase 1, 300 million, 200 million. That's like the least you would see, like, around Admiralty. I don't know if you get my point. But let's talk about the mainland. On the average, a decent place, decent property, how much do you think one will spend to acquire a property there?
So if you are doing Admiralty, then the only direct comparison is Ikeja GRA.
No. Just okay. Ikeja DRA and other places.
Ikeja GRA will match Lekki's price.
It will match it. That's why I said
but
no.
you probably get more space.
Hmm.
You will get more space for the same price. So that's another thing. Some projects you go into and on a plot of land, there's 15 units. There are some you go to on a plot of land, there's 4. So you don't expect the one that is 15 units to be the same price with the one of 4.
Yeah, true.
But if I'm trying to answer your question as best as possible,
yes,
you will get 20% discount on whatever you get on the island or the mainland.
20%
20%, yes, 20% discount.
So they're almost going toe to toe.
So it's more a value thing than a cost thing. It's more a value thing than a cost thing. But the difference is usually clear.
So I remember the last time we had a conversation. How much does it cost? I own a land. How much does it cost to build a 2-bedroom unit in Nigeria as we speak? Average, not luxury. Average, decent. I just need to move my family in. Let's do.
We did a bill of quantities
Yeah.
for somebody in September 2025.
Yeah.
Their land was 300 square meters. They were building about 50% of the land. It was a 4-bedroom with a big open terrace at the roof paint. And did he have a swimming pool? No, he didn't have a swimming pool. When we calculated the cost to deliver a good quality home,
Yeah.
it was slightly luxurious. We're getting 272 million.
272, September 2025.
25 years. And cement was 9,900. That was all we were getting.
Yeah.
Now there are ways to build cheaper. If you build wide instead of up, it will be cheaper because the cost of a decking is actually a lot of money. You put your steel, you put your concrete. So if you build wider, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Other things are like if you use long span aluminium roof with a small roof headroom,
Yeah.
it's going to be cheaper than if you did the normal hip roof.
Yeah.
But advantages of hip roof include not allowing the sun hit you inside your house. When your roofing sheet is far from your head,
Yeah.
you feel cooler in the space. So it's not, I can't really say, but you can't get anything sensible under 60 million.
Under 60
Yes,
million.
you can't get anything sensible.
I already own the land. It's not part of.
It doesn't end at just building the 4 walls. You have to do a septic tank. You do a soak and repeat. You actually have to get power into your space. You understand? You buy toilets, you buy extractor, you buy kitchen sink, you do your roof. You probably want to do solar with inverter. You understand?
Yeah, you're edging towards the place. Towards luxury.
It's
That's
not
what I'm saying.
luxury. At this point now,
Yeah.
solar and inverter is not luxury.
No, okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
It's something that if you don't do it at the time you are building your house, you do it within 1 year.
Yeah.
So it's something that you have to do.
Yeah.
And one thing that is funny again that a lot of people underestimate is that when you buy land, you usually cannot build on the floor of the land. Your building has to go up. Sometimes even as tall as knee level. Sometimes as tummy level from your land. So you see that raise that you are raising is a lot of money. That's one. On the other hand, your foundation can easily cost you 20 million.
Foundation?
Yes, depending on the area. If you go and build in Badore Aja, you will cry when it comes to foundation cost. Because that is the type of land it is. But if you go to Ikorodu, you'll get away with anything. The soil is that strong.
Okay, so let's use Ikorodu as a case study.
Ikorodu as, for example,
Yes. Building a 2-bedroom apartment.
2-bedroom bungalow.
No luxury.
You build it, you should still be able to get away with maybe like 30 something to 40 million if you are taking out all the regulation costs. You understand? But remember, you still have to hire artisans. You have to hire professionals. You understand? There is a labor cost is also a very serious cost. It's not something that you can ignore. You want to plaster your house, you want to plaster it properly. You can't say because you are trying to save money, you will not plaster your house. You buy paint. The cheapest paint that you get now, that if you paint today, By next year, you probably have to paint again. It's still at least 18,000 naira per bucket. And that is a very useless way to buy paint. You want to buy paint that starts from at least 65,000 naira for something that will do well on your walls. You understand? You are going to do window. A 1.2 by 1.2 window, which is around 1.44 square meters. You're not going to have one window in your space. You need one window in the room. Minimum, you're supposed to have cross ventilation.
Yeah,
you need 2 windows in room 1, 2 windows in room 2, 2 windows in the parlor, 1 window in the toilet, 1 window in the kitchen. And you want to have 2 toilets plus a visitor's toilet.
What is it about our small windows?
It's
in
cost.
Design.
It's cost.
Knowing fully well that we are in a temperate region.
It's the cost. Block work is cheaper than windows. So they would rather set blocks than open windows. Then there's also a design that has been going crazy in Nigeria, and it's called contemporary designs. It's straight lines, hidden roofs, without any of those traditional looking effects on the side of your building.
Yeah.
The thing about contemporary design is that they work with smaller or longer windows. The window has to actually have this rectangular human being shaped something.
Yeah.
So they usually, what smarter architects do is that, yes, you want those small windows.
Just something like this.
Yes, you want those small windows, but we'll give you like 8. So your design works, but you still have breeze. But when an architect designs for 6 windows, for example, in that space, but they are small and contemporary, the client will come and be like, why do I need to put 6 windows? I only have money for 2. Or when they want to cut costs, they just cut costs in the wrongest of places. But what I always advise when it comes to cost cutting is from the design. Cut your cost before you go to site. That's why I say a lot of things are not done properly in Nigeria. Normally, you should have all your team, you have your cost totally broken down with a contingency cost in case of things change. In case it is
inflation.
Yes, for example. And me, I like, some people put it at 3%, some people put it at 5%, but I'm like, that is in a stable naira economy. Naira has been stable for a while.
Yeah.
But it's historically not stable.
It has stubborn head.
Yeah. So you want to put around 30%. So if they say your building will cost you 30 million, budget 40 million. So that when it finally happens, you are not saying, I need to cut money somewhere. Let's remove the window. I need to cut money somewhere. I was supposed to buy correct tiles. You want to go and buy rubbish tiles. And that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. There's something called cost of quality. Cost of good quality, cost of poor quality. When you want to calculate the cost of poor quality, people just stop at the cost of buying the thing cheaper. But when you start seeing all the other costs that comes with it, breakage. I'll give you an example. A good block these days, 9 inches, cannot be less than 1,000 naira. Because if cement is 12,500 and you are not supposed to get a maximum, you should be getting 25 blocks in one bag of cement. If you get 25 blocks from a bag, I'll even go for 22. But let's say 25.
Yeah.
If you divide 25 from 12,500, how much is that already? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, if you want a good block, if the bricklayer is trying to work and they are carrying it, it won't just break in their hands. You have 0% breakage. And you have 25 good blocks. But you go and do 40 blocks instead. They are going to have 28 broken blocks. And at the end of the day, you can only use 22. And those 22 will still crack because they cannot work. They can't even carry the block above them. And they will start cracking from the bottom. So, if you do your cost holistically, which is something a lot of Nigerians don't do, you find out that it doesn't just end at you trying to be the cheaper option. You have to spend the money totally so that the thing can last. But one thing a lot of people will now do is that they'll say, I gave this contractor money. I gave him plenty money, even above market.
Yeah.
But you didn't pay anybody to checkmate him. When last did you leave your son and say you don't have to write exam, you are smart already? Or when last did Nigeria and China have bilateral agreement and they didn't write anything down? You understand?
Yeah.
There needs to be a documented way of understanding what we want to do and holding each other accountable. If not, then you are putting yourself in problems. So I'm an advocate for accountability over trust. The moment you are saying, I trust that guy, it won't work. US did not have to trust China to get everything they wanted to get. They put steps in place. Even US didn't have to trust Russia. They were like, see, mutually assured destruction. If you fire your nuclear weapon, before it makes it into sub-orbit, we would have fired everything. that we own. So the day you decide you want to fire, we will fire too. That way, okay, I won't fire, so you won't fire. And you won't fire, so I won't fire. That way, we are accountable.
Yeah.
Same way you want to give a contractor money. Who is calculating that money is the exact amount he needs? Who is calculating that?
Who's supposed to calculate it?
The quantity surveyor.
Quantity surveyor.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to pay them so that they can keep track of your work. First of all, they give you a budget because they will take what the architect did, the mechanical, electrical, and structural engineer did. They will take it and they will calculate for it.
Yeah.
They know the rate that applies in Surulere. They know the rate that applies in Ekusigo, for example.
Waterlog area, right?
Yeah. So they do all those costings. And then they say, okay, this is your estimate. Then after that, there's something they call a tendering stage. You call 3 contractors of the same caliber, same level of work.
Yeah.
Then you say, okay, how much do you want to cost for this size of project? They'll give you all the quantities. Then the contractor will decide. You don't expect a big grade contractor and a D grade contractor to charge the same. A big grade contractor has a crane. You understand? It's like flying 747 from here to Ikeja. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
you understand? So you want to give a C grade contractor a good level of job. You can't give a big grade contractor because you can't literally afford it.
Yeah,
or
true.
they have too much to deploy.
To build
yes, they have too much to deploy that you will not be able to cover their running costs, their overhead.
Yeah.
Because for them, they have finishing officer, they have security 1, security 2, quality QC. They don't even have one person for anything. They have departments for it. As opposed to a normal level contractor that, you understand?
Yeah.
Also, when you are done with that stage, you call them for negotiations. A contractor might have form work is pako or steel, anything that holds your concrete in place till it dries, till it sets before you can remove it. For me now, on my own projects, I buy wood that lasts like 8 to 10 times. It's more expensive, but I know I'll use it on another project. If you hire me as a contractor, for example, I'm not taking jobs. If you hire me for a contractor, if you hire me as a contractor, you might want to might want to do a 2-story building. Means that we'll use the wood 2 times, for example.
Yeah, true.
Instead of you paying maybe 40,000 naira for wood, I'll tell you I'll rent my wood to you with my labor at 25,000. Now we've come down on price, but we've not compromised on quality.
True.
Do you understand? That is where the negotiations happen. And when you finalize and you say, okay, this contractor, you're not telling him, okay, you can go ahead with handshake. The QS will write you an award letter. Will write the contractor an award letter. The terms of the contract will be very clear. I'll give you an advance to mobilize your workers, to mobilize some materials to start work. If you are giving them materials, because sometimes you say labor only, sometimes you say material and labor. They call it supply and fix.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just fix, sometimes it's just supply. You understand? So you tell them, okay, I want to go and start. Give me money to mobilize my project manager, to mobilize my site manager. So at the end of the day, when they are done with stage 1, for example, they finish foundation.
Yeah.
Before they even pour that concrete, before building control will come, your structural engineer must come and certify and write a letter certifying that this job has been complete.
Yeah.
Then the building control will come and say, okay, where is your engineer sign off on this job? Because before you call me from my office to come and look at job as a regulator, your own person has to have said the work is okay. Unless who are we listening to?
True.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So once your structural engineer is done with that, the concrete is poured, all that stage, your architect, everybody has confirmed their own part of the project. The QS will now come and say, okay, they've done this concrete, they've done this one, they've done this one. They've executed 100% of that stage.
Yeah.
Let us mobilize them for the next stage. Or the contractor comes like, okay, I need money. What do you need money for? Say cement is not enough. Based on this calculation, the QS will tell you, based on this calculation, their cement should have not been done. Don't give them any money. It's that simple.
Wow.
So it's close marking.
Practical.
Yes, everything is already working. It's for us to decide we want to pay for the work. Every federal university in Nigeria produces engineers, produces architects. A lot of them produce quantity surveyors.
Yeah.
It's us that feel like those people coming out are not for us. We want to go and employ bricklayer offline. What does bricklayer know? Yes, you hear people saying, it's the bricklayer that is setting the work. Have you ever seen President Tinubu carry gun and go and fight in this thing? Are you telling me that there's no use for the president? Do you understand? Everybody has the role they are playing. One is design, strategy, and supervision. The other one is actual execution. And guess what? The way the bricklayers work is engineers that designed it. Those blocks that they are laying is engineers that designed it. Why would you just wake up one day and say, it's only bricklayer and carpenter I need?
And that you have the capacity to be able to do it.
You can't get good results. And guess what is the most funny part?
What is it?
It is that bricklayers, artisans are never accountable. Who do you want to go and report them to?
We have issues of shortage of artisans. We're rounding off now.
Okay.
What's your advice to developers and people who are building on how to approach artisans? Because now what we have are people who have the skill set. Many of them are retiring. They're part of the baby boomer generation. It requires a lot of effort. It's laborious. So now the younger ones are not interested in upskilling their game or even learning the skill itself. How do you manage shortage of apprentices?
The big boys that have bigger projects,
they
usually have recruiting arms of them where they bring in maybe secondary school or even primary school and tell them come and learn the craft.
Oh, so they train them.
So they train them and then they keep them. Oh. They are not enough for the open market.
Yeah.
Also, government has different programs they run where you learn from them and they'll go and place you in all those type of construction firms.
Oh, okay.
But that is still not enough based on the demand.
Yeah.
Because it's like Dangote is selling cement that will build 200 houses and we are producing workers enough for 3 houses. So the disparity, the distance is actually a lot.
Yeah.
What I would say is do it the same way China did it.
How did they do it?
We are training workers, but we are also going automation.
I remember you went to China and you were talking about...
Yes. Right now, on my own project, I have a wall plastering machine. That means that I'm planning on cutting down the time required to plaster my projects.
Yeah.
And I'm also cutting down the amount of workers I need. There is a saying that we like saying on our site, is that when you have a big project, you usually pack mad people with human beings. Yoruba will say, "Onkowe remero." You can't have a big project and you not have foolish people, unskilled people trying to join the skilled people in trying to deliver your project. So if you have machinery that increases the leverage of the good guys you have by 10x, it is better for you. There was a project we worked on, I think 3 or 4 years ago. These workers were so bad, they will bricklayers, they go finish work, they no go bath. Imagine working from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock. All your sweat, all the dirtiness, and you go and sleep like that. Think less of the tools that they use when they finish working. At that point, we were like, we are not even going to buy you guys a range or anything again. We'll add the money to your fees. And if the range spoils or any tool that you need spoils, no money for you again.
Yeah.
Because we found out that they kept on spoiling it by not cleaning them properly. So those are the things that we are trying to do. If you go to somewhere like Ikeja now, if you tell a bricklayer that the way you're setting this block is not correct, or you tell a tiler that this way you're setting this tile is wrong, if he continues and you stop him again that you're not doing it, you just hiss and carry his bag. As he's walking out of your site, somebody is already waving at him that there's work here.
Wow.
Because the leverage is with them. Another issue is that in 2024, when the dollar spiked against the naira, we lost all the workers from Togo, from Benin Republic, because now the rates did not make sense for them to come again.
Yeah.
At that time, I spent 150K like in 3 places trying to pay their transport to come down. And at the end of the day, they just told me that, oh, God, nobody follow me. They don't want to come because the rates did not make sense for them anymore. So the ones that we have left here, they don't know anything. And also, you will not blame them because the cost of labor has not really increased per se to match the reality of.
Yeah.
But how much do you want to increase it to when people are complaining that houses are too expensive? For example, now, if you are paying a carpenter 15,000 naira per day, it might seem like a lot of money. But to do carpentry, you eat maybe like 6,000 naira. Or you do more than that. You transport yourself to come, you know, things like that. At the end of the day, you're like, is this work even worth it? Why not, as a future apprentice, go and learn coding and decide that you want to be a coder? Or go the path of least resistance and go and learn Yahoo. You understand?
Yeah.
So a lot of people do not want to learn that trade, and that is just the way it is. But if you decide, and that is the thing about scarcity areas,
Yeah.
just like with real estate, if you are a tiler, I know a tiler that doesn't collect less than 7,500 naira per square meter. Sometimes the money for the tiling is even more than the tile you're buying. But I will tell you that that is the standard. He has all the tools. He has the workers that they work like a machine. If you feel pay my money, if you know if you pay, leave him. But what you never catch him doing is setting bad tiles. And that's the same thing with some bricklayers too. They are not fast, but their work is neat. But they are expensive. Or at least the price above market.
Yeah.
So if you can afford that as a worker, somebody that prides themselves in good quality. You see a lot of people they come back from the US. They're like, we like the way they are doing it like this.
Yeah.
But the money you are paying, they cannot buy tools. After they remove food money. You know, one thing is funny. People don't know that a saw that a carpenter uses like 20,000 naira now.
Wow.
The money for the saw is more than what they'll make in a day. You understand? So sometimes they'll be like, if this saw is not sharp, you go use it like that. At the end of the day, bad work comes around. Or it may be a bricklayer that is using a trowel and he has used that trowel so much, it's not like spoon. But when you ask him that you should buy that one,
Yeah.
he'll be like, no. Half of my money is going to food. The remaining is to numb the pain from all the work from the day. So those are the realities that we face. As I always say, Nigerian problem is like, okay, it's interwoven. You can't just pull one out and say you can solve it. This usually weaves into something else.
Oh, this is a lot to take in. We'll definitely have a part 3. I promise you. We're definitely going to have a part 3. But while we're rounding off, what is your advice and to people who want to own properties? There are a lot of conversations around it being too expensive, one, rent too expensive. You play as a developer, you also understand the market because you get a lot of feedback, you take calls, you have live session where you take a lot of, based on the data you have, your company, what are the feedbacks from the customers? And as a developer also, what do you think about these skyrocketing prices of real estate in Lagos in particular? Let's use Lagos as a case study, but I think it's a Nigerian thing, but let's use Lagos as a case study.
There is only one country that has been able to solve the rising high housing prices.
Yeah.
And I think it's Singapore. If it's not Singapore, it's one country, I think maybe Malaysia or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But don't quote me on it. But what they were able to do is something that no other country can do.
What?
Make housing not the access class, not an investment thing. Homes should be for homes only. But what would that do? It will mean that nobody will ever wake up and build more than what they need. And at the end of the day, we'll all live under trees. The reason why we are having more houses coming out of the private sector is because people see that if I go into this thing, there is demand for it, and I get to make a profit off of it. So two things cannot be true. You can't say you want to make
But it can
money.
be true.
You can't. In this case,
Okay.
you can't say you want to make money from real estate as an investment, and also say you are saying that housing prices are too expensive. It will not. It doesn't work.
So the concept of affordable housing is a myth.
Let me tell you why. I have stock
Yeah.
in WAPCO. That's Lafarge Cement.
Yeah.
I have stock in Dangote. Those are one of the best performing stocks.
Yeah.
Why is it so? I think they said Dangote sold less cement, whether last year or last 2 years, than the year prior. But they made more profit because they are raising prices of cement. Lagos State just tripled the price of documenting your land procedure. You understand?
Yeah.
So there are no indicators that the system wants affordable housing. So where does that affordable housing want to come from? You know the thing about Nigerians, they like shouting at the person that they are sure cannot do anything back to them. A developer cannot wake up and serve you a repercussion for what you said badly about them.
Yeah.
But you can, if you go after Dangote, you probably will be afraid you get a lawsuit. If you go after the government, you're afraid maybe what's that? There's one law that came out like a few years ago, cyber crime or something.
Oh,
I can't remember. Something about cyber that once you the lady that
defamation, is it?
No, the lady that got
Erisco.
yes
Tomato.
that thing that they held down under. I can't remember that law.
Okay.
that's the same thing they'll come after you. So that's why Nigerians like to come after developers, because they are the ones that they can express their pain on. But is garbage in, garbage out. Is what I got that I sold. If banks were offering us 3% or at least single-digit loans to build, housing would be cheaper. If cement did not have to cost so much.
But we have developer funds from MRIF.
Yes.
We have mortgage. We now, the government has introduced MRIF. We have from Murphy, which is a mortgage system.
Yes, that drops your price from maybe like 150 million to 100 million. But it can't drop it from 100 million to 30 million. Do you understand? So all the MRIF does is that it reduces the cost of capital for the developer. And it also reduces the cost of acquisition for the buyer. But it does nothing to the price of the actual thing. You understand? And if you ask Dangote why, he will tell you that one of his biggest headaches is energy and logistic costs. And those things are, for the better part of the century, have been imported. You understand? Our roads are not exactly in pristine condition. And our fuel is not actually cheaper. So how does Dangote too want to come down on his pricing?
Wow. There's a lot for us to talk about. But I'd love to take it. Thank you for coming for the to the Frankly Business Podcast. It's been a great one. We're definitely going to have a part 3. It's been a great one having a conversation with you. I'm sure you got value from this. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We'll do this again. Cheers.